Hi, I'm Isabella. My dad is obsessed with reality television, maybe even more so than I am.
She's not wrong.
This is Check Me Boomer, a father-daughter weekly dish on the latest in reality TV. Welcome back to Check Me Boomer.
Welcome.
This is our third episode. Today we're going to be covering both Love Islands, USA, Love Island, UK. We're going to cover Summer House, a little bit in the city, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Then we're going to do the Rhode Island finale. And you have a show you want to pitch me on.
McBee Dynasty.
Yes. And then we have, if time allows, we have another Boomer or British. And then I have another little guessing game for you.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
I say let's start with Love Island USA.
Okay.
What do you think? I do want to give context that today is Sunday. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Thank you.
And happy Father's Day to all the fathers that might be listening. I know we have a few. And for context, we have not watched Sunday's episode of UK, but we are caught up on USA, including After Sun.
Yes.
So I think maybe we should kind of start back at the beginning of the week for USA and just kind of go through it.
Maybe just the highlights.
Yeah, that highlights, of course.
I think it was a little bit boring this week in Love Island USA.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely some things that we can discuss. There's been a lot of online discourse and arguments and all, so we can get into that a little bit and just see if we agree or disagree.
Okay,
so,
let's go.
So where we left off was the America's recoupling. So now we have Soul and Sincere as a couple and Kenzie and Caleb as a couple. So first off, do we have any thoughts on those new couplings? Like, how do we feel just all around about those?
Meh.
Yeah, I think Kenzie and Caleb, it's been very clear over the course of the week that she doesn't really like him. I think she likes the idea of him, but it's very clear she likes Corbin more. We'll go into Corbin and Kenzie and all that, of course, as well. Soul and Sincere, I think that's Sincere's fault. I mean, America put him with Soul because of the way he was treating her, telling her the whole, oh my gosh, this is love at first sight, all that. So I think they made sense at the time.
They did, and they actually seemed calmer when they interacted as opposed to the fiery back and forth between Sincere and Melanie. But that was, again, to your point, his doing, not hers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the most part, except for when she reacted in prior episodes, had a little bit, she was a little over the top.
Yeah, I will say she's calmed down a lot. I'm going to give her a lot of credit for that. She didn't really freak out about the whole recoupling. Obviously, she was upset. But I think she deserves some credit for, like, not going crazy on Soul and just kind of letting it play out. I did think it was weird that she didn't want to sleep in the bed with Corbin. Like, I guess that's her own personal decision, but that seemed a little bit dramatic to me.
Yes, especially given the setup of the show. Everyone knows you're going to be sleeping with who you're coupled with. It's not like he did something wrong where in prior seasons someone has split up as a penalty, but whatever. It was her choice.
Yeah, so a lot of the online discourse right now is coming from Kenzie. A lot of people are upset in the way she's going about Love Island. I do think she did lead Caleb on. I mean, she's kissing him all over that villa. She is, for the most part, being honest about how she feels about Corbin, but still kind of kissing Caleb and not... I don't think she's really being fully honest there. And then, of course, we had the secret kiss in the bedroom that people are upset about. But here's the thing. I watched this show for mess. So that was entertaining to me. I know if you've seen this show before that that's going to come out later. So that's what we want. Like, that's what we want to see. We want to be looking forward to movie night. So, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I say let her do it. Let her have fun. Yeah, she might be selfish. She might be leading people on, but that's what this show is for. So I don't think she deserved all the hate she's getting. So should we move on to Casey and Anaya had a little bit of a rough week this week.
Sure.
And I'm personally blaming Casey for that. I think he clearly wants to get to know Soul, and I think he's a little bit scared of Anaya. Like he's scared of how she's going to react. So I did think it was funny how Casey ended up pulling Soul when Anaya was kind of already in the middle of a conversation. I'm pretty sure he was confronting Zach for something, and I can't even remember why. But I do know that he he pulled Soul when Anaya was preoccupied, and then when Anaya realized that that's what was happening, Anaya did go interrupt that conversation.
Well,
So go ahead.
I don't know that it's all his fault here because she is saying the right things like, oh, okay, I don't mind. Yes, we're open. We should explore. But then her face is just got that look on it, and her body language is clearly saying, you better not. And so he's reading it and seeing mixed signals. On the other hand, he could just be like Gabe and just proceed. The show is set up for this kind of interaction and he shouldn't be afraid. So it's on both of them, I think.
I think that's a good point. I should have mentioned that I do think it's Casey maybe not being as honest as he wants to be, but yes, Anaya is kind of giving him mixed signals and saying that that's okay, you should explore, versus going over and crying about it right after. Like it's so tough with these two. I think they're both kind of at fault. For the first part of the week before the little letters recoupling, I was like, "Oh, they're going to be fine. They're going to figure it out. It's just a miscommunication here." And their letters were amazing. I mean, they were so sweet. It like made me tear up. But I will say after that, I do feel like there is some disconnect between them. I think that their communication styles are different. Yeah, I'm not sure that they're going to last. I'm rooting for them, but I'm just not sure that their communication styles are lining up there. So we'll see what happens. Of course, we do have Casa Amor coming up, so I have a few predictions for that. But let's wait on that. I still got a few things to discuss. Anything else on
USA?
Casey and Anaya?
No.
Okay. We also had Zach and Kata in the hideaway this week, which is fine. What I didn't like to see was Zach in the hideaway saying, "Oh well, are you gonna be mad? Like, are you gonna kill me if I go talk to a bombshell?"
I saw that and at first I thought I had the same reaction as you. Uh-oh, what is he doing? But then I think because of the way they edit, it's hard to see whether they kind of mess with each other a little bit because she did say too soon. And so, in a broader context, maybe they had been joking around more broadly, and then it wasn't as bad as shown on the actual episode.
I think that's definitely possible. I do think it's something to point out because it's not the first time he said something like that. Like he said that before. And there's some online discourse about that too, that like, oh, Kata forced him into something he didn't want to do. I don't really think that's what happened, but we don't need to get into all that. I bring that up because we see in this most recent episode that Kata is now talking to Caleb, and Zach is kind of losing his mind over there, being like, why are they talking so long? Like, I don't know about this. Like, should I go interrupt? He's just, you can tell he's very bothered, which of course he is. I mean, look at Kata. But I thought that was a little bit ironic that now that Kata's exploring, now you're upset, even though you were already into this imaginary bombshell that hasn't even come in yet.
We'll see. I think it might be much ado about nothing. She did admit that she likes when someone's jealous.
That's true. That's true. And Zach is acting jealous, so maybe this is all just a ploy to get that out of Zach. But I actually would love to see Kata and Caleb together. I think that it'd be, I don't know, I think they'd be cute. And I do want Caleb to find someone.
Right, but with Casa Amor starting today or tonight, it's not going to be set up that way.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but we'll see.
Yeah, of course these are all thoughts I had before we knew it was Casa Amor. So now that we know it's Casa Amor, yeah, Kata and Caleb are not going to work out. There's just not enough time.
Right.
So, speaking of Casa Amor, well, I should mention Gabe and Soul did get dumped. I think Soul was the right move. I think Gabe was the wrong move. I think it should have been Caleb, even though Yes, I know everybody feels bad for Sol and Caleb because they didn't really get a good shot, but that's how the show goes. Gabe had a connection. I think it was not fair to send him home. So I'm not on the girls' side with that. Do you agree, disagree?
I agree, and I like how Zach used their logic against them and showed if we had done the same thing, here's who would have been voted out on your side.
Yeah.
But I also, it was almost like a British moment where the clips in advance definitely showed the controversy and made it out to be a big deal. And then they got around the fire pit. Zach said something. They got a little bit upset. And he said, see, I'm not angry. I'm just using your logic. And then they settled it and they had a group hug. It was over. It's almost like they're watching Love Island UK to figure out how to manage conflict resolution.
Yeah, I do feel like, and this is kind of going into just like how the show, like the logistics of the show. I sometimes wonder if they just don't have enough time to edit it in the way to make it more dramatic than it really is. But we don't know that. So,
Speaking of production questions, this is where I'm going to jump in. One of the topics we talked about yesterday is how few bombshells there have been on USA in comparison to UK. I had assumed that production had some level of flexibility in that if they spotted lack of drama alert, we need to insert more bombshells, that they just kind of have them on standby and at the ready. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like they must be scheduled. And that's why part of the reason I thought the entire week overall was completely boring. I only wrote two things in my notes to bring up, neither of which I've mentioned so far. And I'd love to get the backstory and figure out behind the scenes some of the things that go on and some of their limitations. It might be just logistics that they don't want to put people up in Fiji for so long and they only fly them in at the last minute, and changing that would be complicated.
yeah. I think they definitely try to stick to a schedule. Of course, things come up like, someone might have to leave, like we saw in UK. I think George had to leave. Now, do we know if they brought in an extra male bombshell in his place? No, but I do think that things come up sometimes, and maybe they do have a couple people on standby just in case. But yeah, those are all questions that we're probably not going to ever find out because those are production secrets.
I might dig into it and see if I can find something.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Yeah, but I agree with your point that I was starting to get, I mean, in the Thursday and Friday episodes, I was like, where are the bombshells? Like, it's been a while. We haven't had any bombshells come in since the bed challenge. So I guess it's time for Casa Amor. Yeah. It does feel a little bit early, but I do want to quickly go through what each of us think is going to happen with each of these couples. Do we think they're going to split after Casa Amor or stay together? So we'll start with Kenzie and Caleb.
Split.
You know what? I could see them staying together.
But it is Kenzie and Corbin.
Corbin, yeah.
Oh, busted.
Ooh, yeah. I messed that one up. So yeah, Kenzie, Corbin. I think Kenzie's going to stay loyal. Corbin might have a little blip, but I think they're going to end up together. Casey and Anaya.
Split.
Okay. I kind of think so too. And I don't think it's going to be Anaya that's doing it. So, Sincere and Melanie.
Temporary split, lots of drama, arguing, and then they're back together.
I see that too. Yeah. I could also see them not going anywhere, but knowing Sincere, I think he's going to, I think he's going to be a problem again. Who do we have left? Zach and Kada.
They'll stay together.
I think so too. I think they will. I think they like each other too much.
And on this point, this came up in After Sun last night, which I don't know if you want to cover, but if you do, let's keep it brief. But the topic that it is a game, and how Gabe made a comment that, hey, if you do this, if you're putting yourself out there, there is a risk that you're going to get voted off.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, well, if someone comes back to the house, they're going to be the villain. And maybe that's part of what's going on, in that if people are thinking this through, like Zach and Kada, if they stay together, they're much more likely to win.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is always in play. I think we don't talk about it as much because they don't talk about that part as much. But yeah, the game part and the money part is always in play.
But one more comment on that. The money part, it's chump change, right? It's a joke because, what is it, 50,000 for UK, 50,000 pounds?
I think it's 100,000
and
for USA.
$100,000. But if they really wanted to become influencers, I don't know that winning necessarily correlates to the highest resulting monetization. That's something that I would be curious to look at, because there's certainly people who have not won in the past who are doing pretty well on their own.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think the public perception of you is the most important, which does coincide with winning in a lot of cases because it's America voting. But yeah, you can not win and also end up being the most successful person on the show. Look at Olandria from last season. She didn't win, and I think she just bought a penthouse apartment. She's killing it. So yeah, I'm with that. Okay. Bryce and Trinity.
I don't know. That's just a nothing burger to me.
They are my favorite couple.
They might have a chance. It's just boring for the show. So I guess they'll stay together.
Well, I could see them going either way. Like, I want them to stay together, but I could see it going either way. So we'll see. And then who else do we even have? We have, of course, the singles, Caleb and Jen. I'm really hoping Caleb finds a sweet Southern girl. We'll see. Did I get all the couples?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Obviously, if you didn't think of someone, they're not worthy of discussing.
I guess so, yeah.
Right. Let me know when you're ready for my comments.
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. So this is how boring it was for me for the week. I only wrote down 2 things in my notes. One, I want that chicken. I think that was something that Kenzie said at some point. I have not looked into what it means, but I just thought, what is she talking about?
Okay.
And then this already came up with After Sun, and I'm glad that Sierra noted it and apologized for all nurses out there. Kenzie, I love her often wrong but never in doubt saying about 2030 is better than 2020. I also question whether someone is really ever judged at 2013. I kind of think they use round numbers, 2010, 2020, 2030. I don't know that there's a 2013 option. Maybe that's something that I'm just not familiar with. But I had written down, I really don't want Kenzie to be my nurse. And Sierra did
she could
call
be.
her out for that.
Because of where she lives.
Oh, well, let's not jinx my health, so.
Yeah, well, what's funny about that is Kenzie did graduate from Kennesaw State University nursing program, which is one of the hardest to get into in the country. So I'm like, what happened, girl?
I'm not seeing her proceeding down that path for a career. I could see her becoming an influencer.
Yeah, I think I see that too.
Yep.
But we'll see.
That's all I have for USA.
All right, so should we move on to UK?
Sure. Do you want to do Boomer or British right off the bat? There are only 2.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Boomer or British? Melt.
Okay. In what context?
When they refer to someone, he's such a melt. Or
Okay,
he's
now.
being a melt.
British.
It is. And it means being soppy or like just pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a broader definition. Okay, next up, gagging. Mibbs said, "You're gagging."
Can you use it in a sentence?
I already know what the answer is, so just guess your answer.
Okay, well, I was going to say neither.
Oh, there may be different uses of it, but it is British, and it means you're desperate. You're really so hard pressed for something. Like you're gagging for her attention.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're both British. Makes me feel better.
Well, that's a little bit different than what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like, oh, gagged it. Or like she gagged.
There is a separate connotation that's a little more lurid, if
Yeah,
you will. Okay,
that's
that's it. I only had 2 for Boomer or British, but my overall thought was UK was way better than USA again.
Messy. It was messy this week. I think we'll get into it, but I think some of these boys are like forgetting that they're on TV or something. So UK this week started with, they had a little truth or dare game around the fire pit, and it ended up with the Islanders voting on, I think it was who is most compatible or something like that. And it ended up that Opie and Victoria got dumped. They didn't know this was a dumping, but of course it was. I was okay with that. Opie was starting to annoy me. I mean, he's very sensitive, but he's also very dramatic. And he just was, maybe that's the musical theater background in him, but he was just starting to bother me. So I'm cool with him going home. Victoria, I feel bad. I don't think she ever really got a good shot, but that's just how it goes, you know? So
I was just slightly disappointed because she had connected with Sam. Is that...
Yes, yeah. So I felt bad for that too, because Sam, of course, he's had a rough ride. I did want to introduce, I know you don't really watch Unseen Bits. I don't have much to say about Unseen Bits, but I think I do want to do a weekly Unseen Bits MVPs. And right this week I have 3. It's going to go to Robin. Poor Robin, she's gone. Ellie. And, surprisingly, after what I've just said, Opie. Opie grew on me a lot on Unseen Bits. He was annoying on the real episodes, but he was really funny on Unseen Bits. So I'll give him some credit there. So, Ellie, you're right on. She's hilarious,
Oh yeah.
especially on Unseen Bits. So,
Oh, okay. Maybe I
yeah.
need to. Maybe you can just send me clips of the funny parts.
Yeah, maybe if I could find any.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this week we saw Yasmin and Lorenzo getting closer. And we saw kind of Aiden's reaction from that. You can tell he's pretty bothered. We saw a secret terrace kiss that I don't think the others know about yet, right?
I think you're right.
Except for, of course, I think Sean was the one to kind of orchestrate that. So I guess he and probably Lola know. I do see her more with Lorenzo than with Aiden, I think. But I see Lorenzo more with Jasmine. And I might have a lot of people disagreeing with me on that, but I still just kind of want these two together. I like Jasmine and Lorenzo together.
I do too, but I just think he's so aloof, and that's not going to work for her. And I don't know if he's just used to getting everything he wants, that he's just so blasé, or is it that he's just transparent, doesn't have a filter, he's saying exactly what's on his mind, including I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what it is with him, but it's starting to get annoying. I'd rather him fake it and just be a little more dramatic.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I haven't really gotten annoyed with him yet, but I do think that he's still kind of one of my favorite guys. I think he still is the best looking guy there. And when he and Jasmine talk, I don't know, they just seem like it just is so natural. And we'll see. I mean, they had another kiss in the kissing competition where they rank each other and give each other scores. I thought they had a good kiss there. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I just generally tune out during the competitions. That's when I start reading a book.
I,
Even though I'm supposed to be taking notes, I just kind of tune out.
well, there are some competitions that are more interesting and more drama inducing. One of them is the kissing competition. I think the Snog Marry Pie, which I know you, again, have your own feelings about. I think that always causes drama, though. So if you're not paying attention and you see them arguing about it later, then you're not really sure what the context is sometimes. So usually, yes, they are a little bit boring, but I want to pay attention so I know what they're discussing early or
Right.
later on.
Right.
So this week we also saw Mika and Samraj kind of split. We saw then Mika go towards Simba, which we will discuss, and we saw Samraj go towards Priya, which we will also discuss because there are some things with both of those. So going back to Aiden and Lorenzo and Yaz, that in that little love triangle. So Yaz finally does tell Aiden that they had a kiss, and she also Aiden's of course getting upset, and Yasmin tells him, well, I have feelings for you. But she said something about like, oh, well, I kissed Lorenzo because I don't have feelings for him yet and I have feelings for you. Aiden took that back to Lorenzo and basically said, Yasmin just told me she doesn't have feelings for you. And I thought that was ridiculous. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing there. He's trying to sabotage.
Yes, and he's one of the several people on the show who says, oh, it doesn't bother me, I'm over it, mate. And then he continues to complain about it to anyone who listens. And Jasmine is the same in other contexts, like, oh, I'm done, I'm moving on, but then just keeps talking.
Yeah. I do like Aiden. Like, I think he's funny. I think he's a good character for the show. He just is like, he makes me shake my head sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? It's just ridiculous. So, I want to talk about Tommy, this bombshell who's coupled up with Ellie. This man, I don't know what he was thinking. He kisses Ellie, and then he goes and tries. This is all on the same day, by the way. He kisses Ellie. They seem to have a good kiss. Goes and tries to kiss Priya. She says no. And then he does kiss Namibia, which I love their little nickname for her, Mibs. I think that's so cute. He did kiss her on the terrace. And then, of course, Ellie finds out. Ellie's upset. It didn't end up being a big thing. It seems they made up really quickly, but I thought that was so weird of him. I was hoping Ellie was gonna like be done with him because that's so weird.
It was good for me because it gave Ellie more screen time. And I got to hear her Scottish accent again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on.
Okay, so there's a theme in this show right now, and it's just a lot of moving love triangles. Like I can't even keep track of all the love triangles we've got going on. I think we've kind of already mentioned some of them, but let's talk about Priya.
Okay.
I think that Priya is kind of making some waves here. It kind of seems like a lot of the girls aren't really a big fan of her. She had a little spat with Lola. So Priya and Lorenzo were coupled up. They had a kiss in bed. And in the dressing room in the morning, she said, "Ladies, I just want to let you know I had a kiss with Lorenzo last night." And Lola kind of comes at her and says, "Well, that's a little hypocritical because you were the one saying, like, you shouldn't be kissing multiple people in a day. So I just think that that's like, I'm going to call you out on that." And the way Lola said it, I thought it was a little bit harsh, but she's not wrong either. I don't really see the issue with Priya, but a lot of people on the show have seen an issue with Priya. Of course, Priya is now kind of talking to Samraj. Samraj has said to the boys, "Oh, I'm kind of faking it with Priya. Like, I don't really know if I like her." So I think I think Samraj mentioned that Priya has a big ego. He's kind of faking it with her. He doesn't really want to try. I think that's going to come back to bite him. Like, you're on TV, dude. You should maybe tell her this. Not that she has a big ego, but just say, like, "Hey, I think we're more friends." So back to Tommy. After Tommy kissed Ellie, he went and told, I forget which boy it was, but he told one of the boys that he did not like Ellie's kiss. Do you remember this?
Vaguely.
So I just don't really see why there's any point in saying these kind of things when you know it's going to come back around to bite you. So I'm now asking myself, are these boys forgetting that they're on TV?
I think they do at some point.
Because, yeah, the Samraj faking it. Oh, the other thing was after Angie, they had a recoupling, and Angie picked Simba. Simba was telling the boys, like, "Oh, I would have picked Mika." Like,
Right.
again, that's going to come back around to bite you. It's just not a good look. So this is kind of the latest. They have a sleepover with 4 new bombshells. They invited Yasmin, Mika, Simba, and Kevin. The standout moment from the sleepover so far is the Simba and Mika kiss. So I think that once they get back, we're going to have an issue here with this love triangle of Simba, Angelista, and Mika. And I think it's kind of clear to me, I don't know if you agree or not, that I think Simba likes Mika a lot more.
Yes.
So again, I feel terrible for my girl Angelista. I think she seems like a sweet girl. We still haven't seen a ton of her, but I feel for her. And we will have to see what happens there.
Okay. Is that it for UK? Love Island in general?
That's it on my end.
Okay. I didn't have anything else to add. I thought overall UK was pretty boring too for the week. I'm looking forward to the bombshell fallout.
Can I say one more thing first?
Sure.
I just want to say regarding Love Island, we did do a comparison of the number of bombshells total. There are way, way more in UK. And I think that maybe it could be evened out a little bit, throw a couple of those onto USA and call it a day. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there. USA needs more, and UK could probably even do a couple less. So that's my last comment regarding Love Island.
Okay. I'm going to pitch you on a different show. It's new to you, not new to your mother and me. McBee Dynasty. Season 3 just started. It's set in Missouri. I think it's horrible, meaning it's a train wreck, and I've watched every episode. I hate myself for doing it, but I'm sure I'm going to watch every episode. Quick summary. Lots of alcohol. So there's a famous episode where one of the sons, Cole, gets so drunk he fights a hill and punches a hill. It's become a meme. It's about a family in Missouri that own farmland. They produce cattle, crops, and a lot of drama. And already by season 3, the patriarch, the main character from seasons 1 and 2, is going to prison. So it's almost like Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, that someone goes to jail by season 3,
Hmm.
and he was sentenced to 24 months in prison, $3 million in fines, $4 million in restitution
What
for
did he do?
crop insurance fraud. So when something happens to your crop, you can file claims for insurance, and he committed fraud in doing so. That's in episode 1 of season 3. One of the sons said, "Oh, he just messed up a cell in the spreadsheet and it resulted in everything being wrong, and that's what he did." There's no way that's as simple as he
Mm-hmm.
did. A couple of other highlights from prior seasons. They also started creating car washes, coffee and car wash at the same time. I'm not sure how much business there is in these Missouri towns, but it strikes me as overbuilt. And they claim that a hedge fund is coming to invest. And they show the guy from the alleged hedge fund. There's no way a hedge fund is going to be investing in car washes. And it's just lots of drama. And one of the sons, Steven, has a lot of messy girlfriends. He's already on 2 or 3 by episode 1 of season 3. So I recommend you consider watching it, and if you do, we'll report back. But that's all I have for that.
Okay. It sounds like a lot of really terrible men again, but I'm intrigued. The thing that intrigues me the most is fighting the hill.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
And of course, any kind of fraud when it comes to reality TV is interesting to watch. So, yeah, I'll consider it for sure.
Okay. Do you want to do Summer House Aftermath, or whatever they called the post reunion episode? I just have a few comments.
Yeah, I don't have too much there either. My main thing is I do think we got way more information on the actual affair. I don't know if you can call it an affair at this point, but yeah, I think we got way more information on this episode of kind of the details. I do think Amanda seems way more comfortable talking to Lindsay. I don't think Wes seems more comfortable talking to Kyle, but whatever. Amanda, I do want to say she looks scary skinny. That is concerning to see. I don't wish any harm on this girl. I think she made a big mistake, but I don't want to see her that skinny. That's not fun for me to see.
She's always been pretty skinny, but I agree she is skinnier. I wrote down, I'm pretty sure she picked her nose on camera and rolled it.
Okay.
I'm also surprised. I would have thought that she would be more PNG, persona non grata, with respect to everyone, but maybe that's Lindsay seizing upon the opportunity to have another filming session. I agree. West seemed super awkward, but he's always awkward. And I kept thinking the more he talks, the worse he looks. So he should just stop talking. And then the last thing I wrote down was Lindsay's mic drop line. To be honest, you should feel stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the best from the whole episode, which overall was somewhat boring.
I was entertained just because I was deep into these conversations. But yeah, I would agree. The main takeaway I had from the Amanda and Lindsay talk was, wow, Lindsay did not hold back. And I love her for that. That's why Lindsay Hubbard is always going to be famous. She's just so good in these situations. I do think Amanda took it pretty well. I mean, Lindsay was going at her, and Amanda was like, oh, yeah, like, I hear you. So I give her a little bit of credit for that. My main takeaway from the West Kyle, I mean, West coming in going, do you want full honesty even if it's going to hurt you? Like, what is Kyle going to say? No? What is dumb question?
Right.
Kyle and Amanda's dog, that dog knows West. And West is like, I've never seen this dog in my life. That dog knows West.
Maybe he's just like a dog whisperer.
I don't know. Even Kyle was like, so clearly my dog knows you. I thought that was funny.
Well, if he and Amanda have shared custody, maybe that's why the dog is sometimes at the other apartment.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, like, it's kind of just adding to Kyle's like, oh, well, my dog knows you, so clearly you've been at Amanda's place. So that was my main takeaway from that conversation too. I feel like, that whole conversation was eh. And then the final conversation we saw was Sierra and Miha, which is West's now ex that he kept a secret during filming through all of this. He had this secret girlfriend. So Sierra got in contact with her and they're having conversation in, I guess, Sierra's apartment. I thought it was interesting that they were talking about stuff that has happened pretty recently. Like Sierra and Mija, they're talking about how Amanda and West are going to Italy together. There's this photo of West spitting into Amanda's mouth in Italy. I'm pretty sure they brought it up.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'll leave that there. But yeah, I feel like they must have thrown this together pretty quickly this episode. So did think it was weird that Mija was like, oh, well, I was just on the phone with him for like 6 hours the other day. I'm like, girl, stop talking to him.
Who talks on the phone for 6 hours?
Yeah, that too.
Maybe she was exaggerating because I think Sierra did ask, was that phone calls or texts? And then Mija did say that she has to do it by phone because of Amanda.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense, I guess. Weird though. I mean, it's just so bizarre. And the ending was just awkward. Like, I don't think they knew how to wrap this up, so they just kind of showed a shot of the beach in the Hamptons.
Right.
Ended it. And then, of course, we go into In the City, which I don't have too much about, but...
No, I didn't take any notes for that show.
Well, I didn't take many, but there's this very brief scene of Amanda trying on some swimsuits, and she mentions, like, oh, well, this is going to be the Sierra top. I just thought that was ironic that they put that clip into there. So in this episode, we see they're on some trolley doing some lover boy thing. One thing that annoyed me, Kenny still wants an apology. For what, Kenny? What do you want people to apologize to you for? For telling the truth about what you said about your girlfriend? Okay. A big theme this episode was Danielle and her boyfriend and how they got together, how he's still married. What was interesting to me is Danielle kept saying, like, well, I don't understand why you guys would send something in a group chat and say, hey, look at this. She's like, who does that? And I'm thinking, have you never been in a group chat? That's literally all a group chat is sending people, hey, look at this. Like, that is what a group chat is, Danielle. I thought that was dumb. But Danielle is now pregnant. So she is having a baby with this man. So I guess, I don't know if you could say she won in the end or whatever. I think Lindsay's obviously very happy for her too. So I think that was kind of the main takeaway of the episode on my end.
Okay, confession. Now that you're going through all that, I'm realizing I didn't watch that episode.
What? Okay, well.
So I'll have to go back and watch it. But if you didn't have a whole lot to say, I'm sure I would have even less to say.
I think definitely the most interesting part was this whole Danielle thing that I'm referencing is a lot of people on the bus were kind of calling out Danielle. I don't remember how it started, but it ended up being Danielle versus Amanda. And I actually was kind of taking Amanda's side in this situation. And then it ended up being Danielle versus Lindsay. Like, on the street, Lindsay was like, okay, but he is still married. And yeah, so that was the main takeaway. But honestly, you could probably skip this episode.
Isn't Lindsay also still married?
Lindsay was never married.
Oh, that's right. She never married that guy. Okay.
I know you hate Real Housewives of Atlanta. I have a couple things I want to say. I think Phaedra doing Kelly's divorce pro bono is super sweet. I also think the gift that Portia got for Angela for her mother's death, like, made me tear up. It was so, so sweet. So really just, I mean, it wasn't that great of an episode. Just a couple of things that made me go, aw, that's nice.
Well, I don't know that Phaedra specializes in family law, so her doing it pro bono may not be the best thing. Saving money is not always the best course of action.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's a fair point. Then I think the last show we have is Rhode Island Finale, which again, I really don't have too much. The biggest thing I have to discuss is the Joellen Rula cheating husband thing.
I just wrote down that it was an odd ending, and it's I think because of the way the season worked and how I think that they drug out the Rula and her husband thing until the end on purpose, because obviously that video was around like 5 episodes ago and no one showed her, or at least they didn't put on camera that she got to see it. So it's one of the instances where the reunion will be everything. The season was kind of so-so, but we'll see how they treat these things in the reunion and whether it wraps it up in a nice bow.
Yeah, I think part of the reason that it feels so dragged out on the video, the cheating video, is because I'm pretty sure Rula had some health issues during the season, which some of the girls did mention, like, you've been sick for so long, like, and then once she finally did come back, that's when they kind of bring out this video to her. So I can understand how she was, like, pretty upset when it happened, because she was like, I'm still, like, not feeling great, and this is what you're bringing upon me, like, the first day. I think it ended pretty well, though, in that, first off, I want to say I'm glad Liz and Joe Ellen made up. I think Joe Ellen really wanted that. They had two little separate kind of conversations where, you know how the editing goes, they're kind of going back and forth to each conversation. And they're both kind of talking about the same thing. Rula is trying to get Liz to delay this message to Joe Ellen, but Joe Ellen is just gonna confront Rula. So Joe Ellen actually goes and knocks on Rula's hotel door. I'm thinking that would have stressed me out so much. But it actually works out pretty well. They pretty much made up in the room. They both apologized. And what was most interesting to me about this was, at the same time that Joe Ellen is confronting Rula in the room, Joe Ellen's husband is confronting Rula's husband about the video.
Right.
Now, this is where it gets interesting, is Rula's husband doesn't deny it. He goes, oh, yeah, I mean, I messed up. He says something like, he said, I was on a lot of hormones, and which that I was like, hormones? What do you mean you're on a lot of steroids?
Well, he might have been on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy.
That's definitely what it is.
Saying for a friend, not saying for me.
Okay. But yeah, that was kind of his excuse. He was like, yeah, I mean, I messed up. I was on a lot of hormones. And that's just not a good enough excuse to me. But I'm glad that he finally admitted it, because before he had seen the video and he was like, oh no, that's fake. That's AI. Like, it's not real. I like that he finally did admit it. I think he's still a trash human being, as we saw later in the episode. He got arrested for, I guess it's domestic violence, but really, I think it sounds more like stalking. I mean, putting a tracker on, I don't know if it was her car or I don't know what it was, but without her knowledge,
yes,
which is obviously illegal. Well, that's kind of how the season ended.
Right.
It's kind of Rula saying, I don't really know what I want to do. I think she's still with this guy. I don't know for sure. We're going to know more at the reunion, of course.
Right.
So
looking forward to it.
Looking forward to the reunion. Yeah. Oh, Alicia's little re-proposal was sweet.
Yes,
I thought that was funny and nice.
Her accent has definitely grown on me.
Alicia is a star.
Right.
I think that's my main takeaway from the whole season, is Alicia's a star. She's going to be around on Bravo for a long time. But that's really all I have for Rhode Island 2. Again, looking forward to the reunion. We will be discussing part 1 next week.
Okay.
So I think we have a little bit of time for our little Guess Who That Is game.
Okay.
So background again, I'm going to show you a few pictures of some Bravolebrities, and you are going to guess who they are.
Okay.
It's simple as that. So I think last time we did an easy, medium, and hard.
Sure.
I've scrapped that. These are just 3 people. There's no difficulty level.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is Dr. Nicole from Real Housewives of Miami. So, first one is incoming now.
Okay. Real Housewives of Miami. She's no longer on the show. She is a physician. She might even be a cardiologist. I can't remember her specialty, but her name, I can't think of it. Give me a hint. First letter.
N.
Nope.
That is Dr. Nicole.
Ah, okay.
Now, she did just get married, so it was Dr. Nicole Martin. It's something else now, but yeah, you know who it is. Miami doctor, yes.
Okay.
The next one is Carol Radziwill from Real Housewives of New York. Here we go. He's currently zooming in.
Okay. Rhode, Real Housewives of New York. She was on for a couple seasons. She was not an OG. She was like something to do with fashion. I can't remember her name, though.
C?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. That is Carol Radziwill.
Okay.
She is the one who, pretty sure she and Bethany were best friends for a little bit. They had a falling out. She was all in with the Kennedys.
Okay.
final one is Taylor Ann Green from Southern Charm. This one's going to be tough for you.
Okay.
But, I mean, you didn't get the first two either, so.
Oh, Southern Charm.
Mm-hmm.
Dated Shep. Also got with Whitney. Rumors are that they're back together.
Surprised you've seen those rumors.
I can't name her. Give me the first letter.
T.
Teresa? No idea.
That is Taylor Ann Green.
Ah, okay.
But you were correct about everything else. Yeah,
I get the context.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you know who it is. You're just bad with names. So I think that was a good example of he knows who all these people are. He often does not know their names.
Right.
Well, that's our episode. Thanks for tuning in again.
Anything to look forward to next week? Are there any big reunions coming out? Is it Rhode Island reunion? Anything else that we need to know about?
Oh, we do have Next Gen NYC starting next week.
Okay, good.
So that's a new one.
Okay.
But yeah, we will see you next week. And
thanks
for listening. That's our episode. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for listening.
If you like the show, leave us a rating or a comment. It helps more than you'd think. Follow us wherever you're listening and on social media at Check Me Boomer.
And tell a friend who'd get it.
See you next week.